Hello there folks, SeKo Starcraft here, watching a viewer-submitted replay between Bahaya here, longtime watcher of the SeKo Starcraft channel. We got a sleepy Insomniac saying the good luck have fun. It's the Protoss player in the bottom left. Now I don't think I've played too much TVP on this map. Most of the time I've been Protoss getting 2 racks by Terrans, but such is life. Anyways, wanted me to take a look at this. He's up in Gold League now. I think last time we talked to is in Silver. So I'm glad to see he's doing a little bit better, taking a bit of advice. Wanted me to give him a little bit more feedback. This is very, first of all, I'll say this is interesting to guard these rocks, but it's more important to put your first scouting building at the front so a probe comes in, you can see it come in. I mean, building it over here, it's great to watch the rocks, but your second supply depot could just as easily go over there. Anywho, barracks coming out. This can also get sniped by stalkers as well, so it's not it is important at some point, but you know, kind of weird. We've got an SCV going out for a scout on this side. Protoss players doing everything normal, everything he should. Gas and a gateway going down, and they'll scout each other just fine. Maybe can get away with an engineering bay block. Not enough people do those anymore, I feel. The engineering bay block, I think, is super important. I like the same kind of thing. Come in your scout. You'll be able to come down here in enough time if you wanted to be able to interrupt that. But it looks like he's going to skip the cyber core potentially, which is would have been very strange if he did that. Okay, it's not too many times you get a gateway nexus when you're playing against a Terran player. A Reaper will just poop all over you if that's the case. An important thing, you see both pylons down in the base. That should mean you should feel pretty secure. It's not some proxy happening. Get your engineering bay. No. You got them. Save up the money. The engineering bay block, the reason why I like it so much is not only does it screw people up because they want to get their nexus fast these days, but you know for certain if the engineering bay block isn't killed or attacked very soon, that what is happening is that opponent is attacking you. So imagine if there's an engineering bay down here, there's no zealot on the way, the mothership course just started now, that engineering bay would be almost finished, and it would be forever before he'd be able to knock it down. So anyways, something I like to mix in. I actually have a factory coming up here pretty quick. SCV's kind of just chilling down there at the bottom, not sure about that. A reactor after 3 Marines, kind of a funky timing. Whatever. I'm not as huge fan of the, you know, gas deal on 1 for a Terran. 1 gas Terran can do pretty darn good. Nexus is down, very standard opening, Stalker's on the way. Telling you, engineering bay block. Just saying. Probes chilling over here. We'll probably see a pylon go down over there pretty soon. This is a very common area for pylons on this side. You can put them down here, but the rally is a little bit weirder, and sometimes these rocks can get cut off. So it depends. The other thing I would encourage Terran players to do in the early stages, particularly if you want to go economy like this and you haven't scouted this nexus down, which he hasn't, is to get a bunker at the front. It's very cheap, you can salvage it, and that 1 bunker will save you butt. If you came across the map right now with a Zealot, Stalker, Mothership Core, you might actually just straight up lose the game. So I always like getting that bunker down. Particularly maybe even on the low ground, getting that bunker down. You do have this over here to scout this side, so if you're feeling ballsy enough, go do this. But it's important that you see this nexus. The fact that he hasn't seen this yet can sometimes make you a bit nervous. Looks like he is going for a Widowmine drop build. I'm a huge fan of this. I loves me some Widowmine drops. Slightly delayed just because I think he wanted to get that command center down sooner. But they should keep him pretty safe. I mean, you could get out on Observer and snipe these, but they slow down the Protoss so much. Units-wise, the Terran players actually had an economy despite this Nexus being done, so the Protoss player's been not doing a great job. So a Chrono Boost he can spend on workers, he should be doing that. But anyways, back over here. Actually continuing to keep building SCVs. Really like to see that. You should always be making SCVs. And in the lower leagues it might seem like, oh man, that's pretty well saturated. 21 of 24 is quite well saturated. Only 2 in each gas. I don't know if that's on purpose. Maybe you saw that in a build somewhere. Oh, logo. What is? I like that logo. I'm okay with that. Anyways, command center is finished. I don't know what he killed there. Wasn't the probe. Not too sure, maybe snipe a stalker. Hard to say. Anyways, he's about to have his dropper ready to go. Even more Widow Mines finished. Robo is on the way right now. I wouldn't even mind taking all 4 Widow Mines. That'd have been pretty sick. We do have a cannon started. A lot of Protoss players are doing this now. That's why the Widow Mine drops have to be really quick if you want to get the damage done. And start moving these Widow Mines around a little bit. This base is extremely vulnerable to oracles. I didn't notice that, but if there was an oracle, he would have gotten destroyed. That's why I would have liked to maybe seen one Widow Mine get put over here. Anywhere below like Platinum League, they will not know how to spot the Widow Mine dot on the ground and will lose it pretty cheaply. Probably should be looking to put people inside of these gases. Just as a note, like if you got like 16 is the optimal people you want to have on your minerals. If you look and you see 23 of 24, take 8 of those, move them down to your next base, and we'll see if he does that here right away. It would be very smart for him to do so. Anyways, Widow Mine drops. Those are pretty good shots, and the pickup and the leave. Very well executed. How many did he get there? 5 worker kills, plus a couple more cannons getting forced down. Really like that. The other thing you can do is you don't always have to worry about getting a ton of damage with this. Sometimes just dropping the Widow Mines in the third bases is a good way just to be able to see where you're at. This is extremely vulnerable to forget about your medevac here. If you're, I'll pause. If you've got a medevac and it's just chilling, put it like in a space like this where it's hard to hit, or over on one side where you can't hit it. Getting this sniped right now would negate all that damage he did. Widow Mines are moving around now into creative spots, which is good. Keep my eye on that medevac, see if it gets sniped. Very, very risky. Still building SCVs. Very nice to see. Upgrades are on the way. This Protoss player is not doing super hot here, I would say. Just get out of there. Yep, just run. I don't know what he was trying to do there, but there's no reason to have to stick around with that. You've did your damage. The great thing about doing that is not only does it force the Protoss player to react with all these cannons, look at all the cannons everywhere, and observers out, but it just, you did your damage, go home, you're forcing them to be more defensive. Units wise, pretty good lead for the Terran player, still making 2 SCVs at a time, spending his money pretty good, up to 3 racks, going up to a 4th in a command center. I like that a lot. Missile turret going down in a random spot there. If you're going to put down missile turrets, you might as well put them in places where you can actually protect lines. Once again, 24, pretty oversaturated here. You can see the amount of units that are bouncing around. I know he pulled a couple away, but you might as well get down to about 16. It's optimal. There's a great article on Team Liquid about just the way the AI behind mining that I was reading today. Very, very interesting. Widow Mines spreading out everywhere. Really, really like that. I mean, it's a lot of Widow Mines, and this observer will find them and they can get sniped. But they just provide great scouting, and they're difficult. You've got to control well to not just lose free units to them. Widow Mines going everywhere. This is so annoying, by the way, particularly if you're a Terran player playing against this, because not too many people just roll around with Ravens. So this is a really cool move, I think. And look at the vision he gets out of this, too. Really nice. Production going up to 6 racks. Scans, gets the observer, too. If you can afford it, you might as well try. Scan this base a little undersaturated. This one a little oversaturated. I'm not going to worry too much. Does he have his armory started? I don't think so. There, it started now. So he does know to be on top of his upgrades. From the looks of this, he probably is following the same kind of methodology I use. You just go around your base, look around. Okay, I've got production facilities. Are we making everything? Stem isn't done yet, but, you know, what can you do? This base may be a little undersaturated. What's this 2 in each gas? Oh, these got 3 in these ones. Now, if I saw this as the Terran player, see, this is his army. Still just on 2 bases because you've got the Widow Mines down. Now's when you want to think about maybe throwing down a 2nd starport. Likely this Protoss player took some damage. He's going to sit back and be super defensive for a while. So what you need to do is get out a good overwhelming amount of Vikings or start going for drops. You can see this Protoss player is kind of like a 1 hotkey kind of army. It is. Everything's on 1 hotkey here. If you were to come in here with a drop on this side, you'd probably be able to snipe something like this Robo Bay or this, Forge. And then you have 1 drop come down here, take out the cannon, just make the Protoss player uncomfortable. All the initiatives with the Terran player. And I don't know why there's this kind of fear Terran players have about multitasking against like Protoss players, but it works really well. Like, I'm not even kidding. Just go for a drop, go back home, just keep dropping. And if he doesn't defend your drop, you know he's about to come and attack you, so you might as well go and just try to trade. Keeping up on those supply depots, bit of a supply block, but oh well. Vikings under construction, could use a 2nd starport. Another base is down. Orbital as well, very confident. Say a little bit more about this Protoss player. Once again, I don't think he's going to move out anytime soon. Very small armies, not spending his money super well here. Needs maybe a bit more Colossus. This is it's a fairly scary army. Couple Colossus in here with range. See, the good thing about leaving these rocks and going for drops with this stuff is that you've got a good chance of being able to do damage without him being able to come after you. Very, very risky to do this. And that's why he's lucky he got out with only a couple units being killed. That's why it's sometimes nice to scan or send one medevac further ahead of your army, just to make sure that doesn't happen. Don't lose the Vikings, they're not cheap. Oh wow, if you actually sniped that mothership core, that'd been totally worth it. 3 Colossus now, it's a little bit too much army I think to contend with. Nice Widow Mine hits. Behind this, you can see the money for the Protoss player is huge, but the Terran player is actually doing pretty good. Must be dealing with those hotkeys. Yeah, he's got a lot of his buildings all hotkeyed up. Not much queuing going on there. Very nice to see. It's a great thing about having all the production facilities. 2-2 has been forgotten about. That's a bit of a problem, just because he's had that done for a long time, and he's going to lose that advantage he got with the Protoss player being essentially on 1-1, going up to 2-1. More Colossus. And if you see this many Colossus, you know that he's just going to keep committing to Colossus. Nice snipes on those Vikings there. Weren't part of the same hotkey likely. This is just too much army to really bum rush. It looks like he's going to split up, and I don't mind this idea. Pretty much going to sack this one army to do that. So he's going to go straight for the Nexus here. And this is that multitasking I was talking about. This army could cut back over here now. Take this out, no problem. Great hit, tons of damage. And now it's time to just back out. Nice kiting. Probably could use some force fields and kill that whole army off there, but this Protoss player doesn't look super, super strong. Another great shot with that Widow Mine. He's going to take out another base. And look at the supply differences right now. Like, it's hard for me to really critique that this, you know, Terran player is doing anything bad here, Bahaya. Because, I mean, he's up in expansions, he's got vision everywhere, he's attacking on multiple fronts. Spending his economy well. Gonna lose this army, but if you're doing good enough, sometimes it's not as big of a deal. Marauders, you know, pound through. And this game's pretty well over. The only things I would say is come check your bases once in a while. Move a bunch of your stuff. Like, the oversaturation in this game's been huge. 23/12. The 2-2 not starting up. Rally points for the starports, not great. Maybe even, well, a second starport's on the way, but this really needs to be with the army. There's a nice little warp in from the Protoss player. I'm surprised he didn't get that into a planetary fortress fast enough. Force fields go down. A lot of Marauders in this army. Tough to deal with. Terran at this point just needs to kind of regroup. When you send out all these small numbers, sometimes the Protoss player can, you know, pick them off. Rally everything to the front for a while, get up a big group, and maybe work from there. Or come over here and clean this up. Probably should just PF that and get it out of the way. Pretty dusty Protoss army here. Nice target there. The robotics bay is very, very important. It's very expensive to get back. He's flanking from the other side, and we'll get all the Colossus. Really nice attack. There's the GG. Wow, like, what do I say at that point? I mean, the Protoss player didn't play that super well, so it's tough to really, you know, nitpick on things too much. Great production, spending was great. Economy, once again, leaves a bit to be desired, not because he wasn't producing. Got up to 56, you know, SCVs, that's not bad. But where they're allocated, remember, 16 per base, about good. Keeping up on those upgrades there have been really nice. Stim was a bit late on that game. But overall, I really like that, you know, he's thinking ahead, getting out more bases when you're ahead. Just keep taking those bases. Attack on multiple fronts. Would have liked to maybe seen some drops. So that was a really, it was a nice game. It was that Terran play made it look pretty easy against a Protoss when a lot of Terrans are struggling right now. So I like that a lot. SeKo Starcraft, thanks for watching. We'll talk with you later.